Let me see. Ah, no. Light of the branded.
Course is gonna get so expensive,
It's so disgusting. Urban the other one.
For round one, we are playing against a Paleozoic Phantasmal Spiral deck, and my opponent is actually someone who hasn't been a part of the game in a very long time. I didn't know about this until after the tournament, this round was over, so I do go pretty like OTK combo heavy board setup ish, and yeah, my opponent hasn't played Yu-Gi-Oh for actually a long time. He used to be back at like the original locations of Paladins, or the location prior, because Paladins did move around a lot. So it was actually really cool to see like an older player coming back, and that was just like pretty neat to see. So yeah, he was just watching me play my heroes. He was learning the cards here and there, checking out, reading them, and then he used like the field spell to bring out the token. And we're going through like chains and stuff like that, just showing him along the way. Like, he had a good understanding, at least of some cards, because he was playing Master Duel. But, you know, those are two very different formats. So we're just like explaining like, well, like what could he use? What could he resolve? He used the field spell, got that token out. And yeah, so I'm just going through my plays and just setting up like a really heavy board here. And I'm just trying to go into like a really board, because I remember Phantasmal Spiral actually being annoying back in the day. So I was just like, I can't remember what these cards do, and I'm just like expecting them to like pop off or anything, because I really can't remember what the deck actually did. But back in the day, I remember it being kind of annoying to play against. But I just went in for like the OTK plays here, and I had like the mass change. I added mass change, and then I was just like attacking and then just doing some more damage. Went to mass change, Dark Law, and I just attacked directly for game. And that was round one, game one, I'm sorry. And then for game two, my opponent goes first, sets 3, and then he passes. He didn't have the field spell, but he did have like the ashes, and then he also had the anti-spell fragrance, which he does end up like using eventually here. I'm sorry, he used the Paleozoic to banish my card, and then he sets. Then he does some stuff. Then he activates the anti-spell fragrance during my turn when I activate a hero lives. So he chains on that. And I'm just like, anti-spell fragrance. I was like, okay. And then he brought back like Paleozoic from his graveyard as well. So now I'm just like playing without my spell cards. And I was like, for the most part, it was very effective, because I could not go into my OTK place, because I literally had to set my entire hand face down after doing this stuff. And I was just like, yeah, set 4, pass. Because I think I had a mass change and polymerization, but my opponent was going, and then he just set another card, and he didn't really have too much to go into. He had the trap tricks, and I think he set actually, I don't remember what he said here, unfortunately, but it was the Mirror Force. It was a Mirror Force card to bounce back my monsters to my hand, but I actually planned that because I could at least normal summon Stratos to get another search, which ended up just activating my set polymerization, so I can use 2 different heroes with different attributes. So it actually ended up helping me out in the long run. Well, not really in the long run, in the short run, but basically I was just able to set up my board, have bigger presence on my field than my opponent, and then eventually I was just able to like OTK him, get the win, and that's really what happened in round 1. It was really fun playing against him, at least teaching him a couple things here and there, but yeah, that's round 1.
Yeah, that hurts a lot.
So essentially what the deck does is just basically adds a bunch of material and spells.
Activate Pretty Memory, so each gain 1,000.
Yeah,
not that. Sorry.
I don't have it out except
Go into
Those my special planet, you either search a unicorn or family depending on where you go.
Yeah.
Your main search. Alright, Yu-Gi-Oh! Round 2! It's over.
It's round 2, and I am playing against our buddy Aaron, who is now playing a Casheteer deck. He just literally built it, so he's still learning like the combos here and there. And thankfully, our friend of ours taught him like the better startup to go into is to activate the field spell, search Unicorn, so you can get the spell that special summons out from the deck. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, he's going to go into these monsters. But he does make some couple of misplays, but it could be understandable that he doesn't have all the cards necessary to do it yet. So I that might be one of the main reasons, because he did not have go into like a Diabolos. He could have used the Diabolos, and he did not lock my zones. He wasn't locking my zones or anything like that. And he sets up 2 level 7 monsters right here, and this is where I was thinking he was going to go into a Diabolos, but he doesn't. So I think he ends up setting 1 card and passes, or 1 or 2 cards. I can't remember right here. Okay, yeah, just 1 card. I think it was Infinite Permanence, and then he passes, or 2 cards. I'm sorry, sets 2 cards and passes. And I was just thinking, oh, okay. So I go second, activate a Hero Lives, and I summon out Stratos from my deck to get that search. But he has the Infinite Permanence to negate that. So from there, I just summon out the Stratos that's in my hand, and then from there, I'm like thinking like, how can I destroy this? Because I remember Shangri-La could protect itself, but then I just remember it could just protect itself. So I was reading the card just to make sure, and I was like, yeah, okay, so I could do that. And it's like anytime a card gets banished face down is when he can lock my zone. So he ends up doing that when I use Ferris's effect. He does use Fenrir to banish my Stratos face down, and he locks one of my zones. So he remembers to lock now. And then, I had the increase. I did that. He used the field spell to pop my Ferris, but I chained Increases effect to tribute it for cost to special summon itself, because it is a trap card, so I can chain it to it. And then I, summon out the Vion, and I was just going to my usual plays, just with 1 less monster zone. And I am trying to push for a couple of like things I could do here, because I have a way of popping all of his monsters with absolute 0, and that's what I'm going to try to go for here. And the only thing is that like getting rid of that Shangri-La, and I eventually do. I end up getting like this game. I ended up getting game 1 here, and I was just able to set up a better board here where I was able to pop all of his monsters, get rid of the last Xyz material, but then also have Sunriser on my field to pop his monster. So that was just going to get the Shangri-La out of the way. And then I was also able to press for damage afterwards, and then from there, my opponent notices that and then just decides to scoop it from there afterwards. So that got me game 1 against the Kashatira matchups. And then, you see, it just has some. I also had a DPE and a mass change in my hand. So that was game 1. So we go to game 2. I start up, and then I have a lot of good side cards, but I don't think I drew any. And I had a Hero Lives. Love that card so much. And then I just go to my usual heroes combos. I think I tried to go for a Destiny Hero Plasma. I believe that's what I'm trying to go for here, because that card is like insane, and I'm pretty sure I do it here. I hopefully I did. And then I'm just like playing out my field, going to the Sunriser, getting my Miracle Fusion, getting my draw 2, discarding 1, and then I sent the Fusion Destiny because I already had a Fusion Destiny in my hand. And from there, I do link those, go into the Wander Driver. Then I activate Fusion Destiny to send the 2 to the graveyard to summon DPE, and I recycled a Polymerization because I'm going to need that a little bit later. And then I link those into a Cross Crusader, summon an Mali, tribute it, and to add Plasma. And then from here, I'm just trying to set up 2 more monsters to tribute here. And then I go into like the Mali, and I bring back Denier, and I am like able to just tribute those 3 monsters. Oh, I recycled the Banished Mali, then I tribute the 3 monsters to go into Plasma to shut off his monsters, and then I just summon out Mali because I did not want that on the top of my deck. And then I just proceeded to pass, I believe, from here. And then my Sunrise just gives all my monsters, attack points. But he has the evenly match, and I'm just like, oh, that's nice. So I'm going to protect my DPE by chaining its effect to pop itself, and I believe my Militias. And then I just save the Plasma because I want to negate his monster effect. So we do that instead. And then he activates the field spell. I believe he searches Fenrir. No, he searches Unicorn, and then I negate it with the Effect Veiler. I tried to negate it with the Effect Veiler, but that's when I realized that, wait, he can't even attempt to activate, so I can't even use it. So that was a goof on my part. Arrow's like, he was like, you negate it, right? And I was just like, oh, right. Yeah, he wasn't activating. So it was a goof on my end, but he was cool about it. And then he activated Shangri-La. I'm sorry, Shangri-La. He used the Kashatir Birth, and then normal summon Fenrir, goes into those, and then he goes into Shangri-La. And then I just summon out DPE, and I use Plasma's effect really just to take control of his monster and attach it to itself, because I'm trying to use some cards here, but it's really not going to amount to too much because I could just press for damage here. He tries to banish 3 monsters from my graveyard. He does that, but I have enough damage to just go for game after absorbing that Shangri-La, and then I just got game 2, and that brought my record to 2 wins, and it felt really good, and it was a fun game.
He doubled his attack with 30.
I have them in my deck card. I have them on the
I'll just pick this one. Is that fine? Swallow this one left?
On round 3, we played against Dinos, and it's been a while since I played against Dinos. And my opponent goes first. He opens up with the Fossil Dig, searches out Miscellaneousaurus, and then he's just unaffected. All the dinosaur cards are unaffected, so like none of my hand traps would work. I don't even remember if I actually ended up opening up with any, but he's setting up a pretty big, heavy board, and it's just like, wow, this brings back memories because it has been a while since I played against Dinos, and I'm expecting to see Dinos after the new set comes out. I believe it's called Wild Survivors with the new Dino support because that looks pretty dang good. So then, he has the Baguska, and then I opened up with, I had the the Infinite Permanence, so I negated that. And then I just proceeded to just like try to go out, but he had the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to set my monsters. But thankfully I had an increase, so I tributed my set monster. We had like a ruling question about that, but yeah, you could tribute set hero monsters because it checks on resolution. I ended up asking a judge friend of ours at the end of the tournament because he wasn't there today. And it does check on resolution. So that was a legal move to do. And then that just kind of helped me get my setup back. And then I went to the Absolute Zero and I just linked it off into Wander Driver. And then I just popped all of his monsters because of Absolute Zero was sent to the graveyard. And then I'm just trying to set up a board where I can try to attack directly and do some damage. But I don't think I end up doing a whole lot. Yeah, he had the Book of Eclipse to set my monsters, but I was like, I'm going to use my DPE because I want to bring it back during the standby phase. So I do that, and I just book the rest of my monsters. I go to Escorado, but I'm just trying to link off and just go to Cross Crusader, sorry, and then Tribute to search out the Plasma. And then from there, I just go into my Plasma during standby phase. During my end phase, Stratos gets flipped back, and I draw the card, and then DPE comes back, and then my opponent's going, and he can't really get over the Plasma, and he distributes the DPE, and then Conductor Tyranno and all that stuff happened, and then Plasma got destroyed. I brought back Increase, and then during my opponent's turn, I don't think I did it actually right here. My bad. Yeah, so I just drew, and then I brought back Denier, and I tributed to summon out the Increase when I spell on Trap Zone. My bad. I thought I did that during his turn, but I guess it was during my turn. And then Tyranno just booked my monsters yet again. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. We'll summon out the Stratos, and then we're just going to get Ferris here. And I just send a card just to summon the Ferris, and then I link it off into the Cross Crusader to bring back my DPE. And then I used Triple Tactics to take his Tyranno, and I just attacked him for game. Now for game 2, unfortunately my camera was not recording earlier, so you guys missed a huge chunk of it. I just decided to record near the end of it where I have an upper advantage and was just negating his stuff left and right, just attacking him directly. He had a pretty good board, and I just wish I was recording that. Because he was coming back here and there, and then I had we were going back and forth for who could top deck here, who had the better plays, and I just had a bunch of hand traps, and I even kept drawing Infinite Impermanence because you're gonna be seeing that at the end of it. I had 3 Infinite Impermanence set, and I had just hand traps to just stop it, the Effect Veiler and something else I really can't remember. But yeah, by the end of it, I was just able to get game 2, and that brought my record to 3 wins, and it was feeling really good because we were about to go into the final match undefeated so far, and that match was going to decide who gets first place, and it was getting really nerve-wracking for me. So but yeah, this was a fun top decking game, but I ended up getting it, and I had 3 Infinite Permanent set. Hey, Danny. Did you get it? Huh? It is the final round of the tournament, and I'm going in very nervous. And my opponent is playing Tri-Brigade Sprite, and thankfully I had so many hand traps in my hand that I was just able to throw out his abilities to go into crazy plays with this deck. And from there, I'm just going off on my end by just normal summoning out Stratos, getting my searches, going to the Vision Hero package, the good old combos for my hero deck. And it's I'm doing pretty good. I'm so far no negations, no stops or anything like that, but I am still trying to play somewhat cautiously, but at the same time I'm trying to go for maybe an OTK, see if I could do that. And I'm going to the Polymerization Sunrise. Had the Wander Driver to add Miracle Fusion. I drew 2, discard 1, and then I set Polymerization, I think, and then I went into the Absolute Zero. Then I linked those out to go into Dread Decimator to pop all of his monsters on the field. But he had the Sprite, I forgot what it was called, the spell card that just banishes. So he did that instead. He ended up banishing my cards. And then he had like the Nibiru after I went into DPE. And I was just like, oh, all right. So I chained DPE's effect to destroy itself so I could bring it back during the standby phase. And from there, that was kind of like my almost like my turn. I was just like trying to like salvage what I can now. And I just went to like the Anki to attack him directly. I went to the mass change with my Melee going to Anki to attack him directly and then that was just it. I just did a little bit of damage. Then during his turn, I brought back my DPE. He summons out Nimble. One of the Nimble monsters, I can't remember what the name of it is. He links those two off and his Nibiru and the Nimble to go into that Sprite link to. I can't remember what it's called. But he dumps the other Nimble to summon out the two from his deck, and then he goes to Gigantic Sprite. And then from there, he does attack the token, but he did take some damage because he forgot about DPE's effect. But really, he was just trying to go into the Zeus play. And I did mess up a little bit there because I thought I could have popped it during the start of the battle, like during the start of his main phase 2. So I screwed up there. And he went into a Zeus. And then I was just like, yeah, he's going to eventually nuke this board. But thankfully, I had Dark Ruler no more because I top decked it. And then I was just able to get over that and then just have a better board. And then I just attacked. And we're just like going into that. And I just did some damage with Mass Change and just attacked directly with my Master Hero Dark Law. And then from there, he just scooped it up. We did enough damage. And then we got game 1. So for game 2, he goes first. Thankfully, I still had the Infinite Permanence in my hand when he summoned out one of the Kissikil. But unfortunately, that was the only hand trap in there. And I kind of messed up. I should have held on to it because eventually he's going to go into the Gigantic Sprite. And then he's going to do something so annoying. And that's summon out the Nightmare Ibli. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no. And that's when I'm realizing I messed up. I should have held on to the Infinite Permanence, but it is what it is. So he links that off. He goes into IP Masquerena, and then he summons Ibli to my field. And now I'm stuck with this Ibli that prevents me from special summoning monsters. So really the only way I can get rid of this, because I did not side in Dark Holes, is by tributing this card for either a Malicious or a Ferris. So he was still setting up his board. He goes to a Mimic Cat. He has the IP Masquerena. And I believe he also had that Sprite linked to monster. And then I believe he has like, I can't remember if I knew his set card. But yeah, I'm just like trying to figure out like, what can I actually do here then? And then I just Dark Ruler no more, but I don't think it was going to really amount to too much. So I summon out a Bion. I attempt to send to the graveyard. I forget what I think I sent Shadow Mist. Yeah, I sent Shadow Mist to the graveyard. And I think I searched Ferris. Okay, I did search Ferris so I could try to tribute Ibli during the next turn. But it's just still not going to really do anything. And then I just added Polymerization. I just went for the attack over on his IP Masquerena because that's literally all I can do. And then from there, I just passed. And then my opponent goes, he summons out the Sprite Blue, gets to search for Jets, specials Jets, searches out, I think it's Starter he searches, or Smashers. No, Starter. Okay, yeah, he does add the Starter to his hand. And from there, I can't exactly remember if he actually gets this. I think this is where he wins, because he does detach. He goes into Gigantic Sprite, detaches, but he also has the link material. He also has a link as a material, so his attack points are doubled. And then he summons out Carrot, and he's just setting up like his plays here. It's just that Nightmare Ibli that just like completely wrecked my strategy there. And he does summon out that Link 2 Sprite again to dump the Nimble, to special summon out a Nimble from his deck. I think he only had one in his deck, so that was the only reason he only summoned out one. And then he's trying to set up like a really good play here by using that trap card, and then the Sprite trap card that just takes my monster, and then he just attacks and has Spriter, and that was just it. So game 3, he has Spooky Dogwood, and I'm like minimalizing my special summonings because time is close, and he's just he has Dogwood. I special summon, so then he sets a monster during his turn, passes, it goes to me, but I activate increases effect to tribute to special summon out to do my plays there, so I could try to get some kind of advantage. And then it became my turn, and then it's funny because I tried to go into a fusion summoning after he triple taxed his talons, and I tried to go into like a fusion summoning during my turn, and then he has another Spooky Dogwood, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I really had to like do the damage here, but thankfully I was able to press for enough damage to actually end up getting the game, and that brought my record to undefeated to get first place, and that was just so nerve-wracking. But I thought this was like one of the best interactions I had during this tournament, and it was just like so heart-pounding, and I was just so glad that I got through it, and it was just a very memorable duel in my opinion.
I pointed at the game in general.
All right, Yu-Gi-Oh players, since there's a lot of you, I need you up by the office.
Is it turning over?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that makes sense.
Pokemon time.
Really? Cheating? Oh, come on.
That's what I always say when somebody hits first.
Yeah. Oh, someone pulled a multi. Nice. Look at that thing. It ain't Fenrir, but it's all right. Today was just an awesome day. Getting first place with heroes, it's just an amazing feeling, and it was just so nerve-wracking, and it was just so awesome that I was able to pull it off. And it was also cool to see some old friends coming to check out. They were here for a One Piece tournament that was after Yu-Gi-Oh! So they just came to stop by, say what's up. So it was really cool. And yeah, we got our packs, and Danny ended up opening up his packs at McDonald's, and this is what he pulled. All right, go ahead. Rip those things open.
Huh?
Rip them open.
Token. That's gross.
Hey, it could be worse.
Gores, dude? Oh my god, I remember that card used to be the bin. Is that Night Assailant in the deck? Holy.
Yeah, I got a Rada. It's true, though.
Huh. Was he at 20?
No, I was like, oh. Yeah.
Oh god, dude. These are horrible cards.
Hey, that's what happens when you get... What, purpose? So,
I've had 3 of these now. Oh, 21?
Here we go. Here we go. Let's see.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, that is so ugly. Sprite, right? Oh god, I saw Sprite and I was like...
Nah, you would tell the ulties.
Really?
Oh yeah, you can tell the foiling on the black borders of the card.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Didn't you pull that too as your entry
Yeah,
pack?
I did. That's so bad.
Well, better luck next time, Danny.